nowadays with social media kind of applications, we always keep track of number of counts, number of views, number of likes, everything, and we compact the number like 1 million views, 1k views, everything. So suppose we have some kind of application and if you want to do it manually, what you do? You use the modulus operation, you will do it by your own. But yeah, can do this. Yeah. So with the Java 12, they added this utility method also. With this, you can shorten the numbers. You can just have to call the method, get compact number instance, and you have to call the compact format method. Then it will compact the number into 1 million, 1k also based on the number. So you no need to explicitly write the functions. So this is only just available with the US localhost. So if you want to display as a 1 crore 1 lakh, that is not there yet. Let's see the example. This is like before, if you want to compare the numbers to 1 million, 1k like that, then you have to do the manual operation by putting your own logic of using the modulus and everything. But with this method, you can just reduce all these approaches and you can just directly use the methods of format. It will work for all the primitives and all the wrapper classes. Yeah. Because you are not calling that method on any of the wrapper classes. You are just calling the method from the formatter and you are passing these numbers as a variable. So method parameter, so it will work for all wrapper class and primitives. Yes.
But how are decimals taken care of?
Number format is in the Java util package.
Is that medium local?
No, that's what I mentioned. For now, by default, they are supporting the US local. Yeah, Indian is not there. That again, we have to go with the manual approach. So, enhance with expressions. So, anybody like has the scenario of using the expressions or like you wanted to return some value from directly from the switch statement itself. Anybody had this scenario then, but you ended up declaring a variable, then putting that variable inside the case statements, assigning every value again, then returning. And also we all frustrated with the break statement, right? It is not at all relevant because even though the first case executes, it becomes true. Then again you have to use the break to avoid the other case executions. With the enhance with expressions, they resolve all these issues. So it become we just need to write the minimal code for the switch cases and we don't need to write any unnecessary outpost codes. It is introduced again in the Java 14 and yeah, we can see some examples. See, this is before this enhanced switch. Here you can see the example. For example, if I want to display the number of days of month, I have to define a local variable. Then for the matching case, then I have to assign that value. Then to avoid it going for the other case values, then I have to do the break statement also. But with the enhanced switch, so switch expression means it returns the value. Before switch was not returning the value, switch was just a keyword, and now it becomes as an expression. So switch returns the value. So and also you no need to mention the return keyword. So it automatically returns the value whichever mentioned after the arrow syntax. Also we got rid of the break keyword, no need of break. If the case is matching for only the particular case value, then it will be executed and it will be break. It won't execute the other cases. And also with the enhance with expression, there is one more keyword they introduced, that's yield. For example, inside the similar to lambda expressions, when you have a lambda expression, you are writing a block, then only you have to explicitly mention the return statement. Otherwise, if it's a single line code, if you don't have any code blocks starting with the brackets, then you can just directly omit the return keyword and it will return the value. Similar in the case, you can see in the starting two lines, we just have one single line of code, so it will directly infer as a return statement. But if you are doing some code block and if you are doing some logic, you have to explicitly mention like which value you want to return. So further, instead of return keyword, they come up with the yield keyword, because return keyword has a syntax that after the return keyword, whatever the code you write, it won't consider it. It's unreachable code. So this yield is nothing but it is the return value of the case. This is the yield keyword. Can you go back? See, sysout is after the whole switch process, which is now become an expression. So switch will return the value. Based on this each case, whichever the matching case is there, from that it will return the value. It will be directly assigned to the variable. Yes.
You are saying it will return from there or it will print this?
No, yield is again for that case block, it's kind of return statement. Okay, whatever you want to write any other logic, you have to write it before the yield. This sysout is after the switch block. This will not be the compilation. But if you put this sysout inside after the yield here inside the block, then it will be a compiler.
The default is removed or still there?
Default is still there. Okay, I didn't put in this example, but default is still there. Default keyword is still there because you need a default for the non-matching cases.
Otherwise it will never.
Yes. If you pass any other enums apart from this, so as in this example, I kept all as enum, so I didn't put the default because it should come, the enum should be present in that enumeration declaration. If I taken as any string or any other parameter, then default should be there. Otherwise, if you pass any other value, it should handle.
So I should use it only in this case or wherever we can return X also use it?
No, only yield is applicable only for the case inside the case block. Sorry.
If you don't have different types in different cases, right? Each case does a different kind of operation. Something last line is a string, something last line is a int, something last line can be a character.
Sorry, can you come again?
If the last line of each case is everything is an integer,
Yes.
so you could assign it to it. But what if different
See,
case with different
switch itself is the expression. Switch return, it's already inferred that switch must return an int value because we are assigning a switch expression to the integer variable, local variable. If anything, if you mention apart from it, if you make it as a string, then that will be a compile error.
If you don't assign it to it, then it returns to it.
Yeah. If you don't assign it to a int, then it can't be expression. Okay. Either you need to, if you are doing a case operation, either you need to assign it some value, other you need to do, otherwise you need to do your other operations. For example, calling a different method or assigning a value, anything you can do. But when you use it as an expression, then you have to return a value from each case. Yeah, this one, because in this example I taken a enum as a month. It's not a string. If nothing matches, if any other values comes apart from this, then again there will be a compile error. But default is already there in the syntax. Default you must use if you are using any other kind of value. Yeah, here in this example default is there. But for default also same syntax will have with the arrow mark.
Should return type be a primitive type or?
Sorry.
Default dependency also is removed because I think you don't need default and combine the
Yeah, default dependency is not, that's correct. So default is not mandatory, but earlier whether it was mandatory or not, I just had to specify. I am not sure that whether it was mandatory.
Should return type be primitive type or it can be?
No, whatever the local variable you have, so this again, so whatever the return type, it depends on the local variable you are assigning the left side. So here we took the int as a expressions variable, so we should return in the int.
So that you can do something like that. We have a base class and we can
Yeah,
pass
you
the child
can
class.
just from each case you can call some separate method. That method can return an object. That object can be assigned to here. So it switches like now it can be treated like any other method calling. So any other method calling you return the value, right? That will assign it to some variable and will do the operation. Same way you can treat the switch. Before this expression enhancement, you had to declare local variable and inside each case you had to assign it manually. So those all boilerplate codes you can remove it now with this enhancement.